we say we're Democrat, but then we start going down the list of what do you believe in and what do you identify as institutions. So we should have a constitutional representative democracy. Hey, yo, what's going on, y'all? Good to see y'all. Welcome back. It is I, Lawrence Sanders Jr., and I got somebody else riding shotgun this week.
What's up?
Walter Jr. the second.
Yeah.
Welcome, man. Welcome
up,
y'all
man?
to Be the People this week. If you are driving home, please be safe. Keep your hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. But if you are here, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know that you are here. Yo, we got an interesting show tonight. We have a really interesting show. It's really good to be back. Yo, Tam, what's up, Shantae? Hey, boss man, what's going on? Thank y'all for joining us tonight. We have some interesting stuff. We only got a few minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and jump head first into it. Brittany, hey, what's going on? Hola, my Spanish is not all that great, but bienvenidos, welcome to the show. Be the People, and again, Be the People. It's a show about a call to action, what we have going on politically, and our responsibility and what we play in that. So we arm ourselves with information. Once we have the information, we act, we respond. And I want to tell y'all, for all those who voted and wanted to change the president, you guys showed up and we really made some stuff happen. Like,
showed up
thank
and showed
you.
out.
Yes, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure, Ricky, same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The relief, brother.
Yes, right. And there's still work to be done, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Right.
although we act, there's still a political evolution that we're still reaching for, that we're trying to obtain. And that just comes by just taking the steps towards the results we want to see. So if you've been paying attention and if you've been following the media, social media, or any kind of media, y'all, it has been crazy out here. Listen, the politicians are tripping. The regular people are tripping. The atheists are tripping. The believers and evangelicals tripping.
Everybody
It has been crazy out here. It's been crazy. Kendrick, hey, Chef Shahana, hey, what's going on? Real quick, let me put in a shameless plug. If you did not see what Chef Shahana threw down tonight, y'all go check it out. Check it out. She's over at TFG. The name of her show is Foodgasm, and she makes some really dope stuff. Like I'm just anyways, go check it out. Plus, she my producer too. Like, she's real dope. Shout out to the producers and the staff. Like, anyways. So y'all, it's been crazy. It has been really, really, really crazy. But as we talked about, man, y'all showed up, y'all showed out. And really, this political climate is really starting to change. We have a new president and vice president elect.
Yeah.
You got what they call them, China Joe and Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
What you think about it, man?
It gives me enthusiasm. It gives me hope.
Yeah.
For the future.
Yeah, man.
I'm very happy about the result. Obviously, I'm a Democrat, so things went my way.
Right.
2016 was very hurtful, and
it was tough, man.
Let me tell you something. That first night, I went to bed feeling like it was 2016.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad I woke up in 2020.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like we have an opportunity to get back to normalcy, right?
Yes.
To get things kind of back on a path of, especially a global standing, right? It's been very, very hurt by Donald Trump and that administration. So I got a lot of hope. Got a lot of hope for the future.
Yeah, and I would say this outcome is something that definitely gives a lot of people hope. I feel like more than policy right now, more than, how much money my 401k can grow. Like right now, a lot of us need hope. Like a lot of us need
There's a lot of people dancing in the streets, right?
Yeah, no, like really, like there are a lot of people
Philadelphia
dancing in the street.
to Washington D.C. to Michigan.
Yes.
It was just a lot of people in multiple different states, even in certain countries, that were really celebrating this win.
Yeah, man, which was crazy. Like there are other countries that are celebrating like the shift in power, I guess, if you will.
Yeah,
a lot of people are happy.
Yeah, I don't think we really understand the standing of where America stands throughout the globe, right?
Right.
Being that leader, and for the past 4 years, we kind of have taken a step back, which has really hurt. If America's taking a step back, then it's not good for the world.
Right.
That's where you see that celebration going out throughout the globe.
Yeah, man. Oh, okay. So Shantae Gibson, you must be an AKA then. Okay. Well, shouts out to the to the AKAs in the house. Our vice president is definitely is an AKA.
Proudly too. She's a proud one.
Proudly. Listen, she definitely wears that proudly. But it is really, like you said, it's really it's a breath. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a sigh of relief. But there's still work to be done. We're not at the woodworks. We are not out of the woodworks yet by any stretch of the imagination. There's still work to do. Trump he mad, fam. He's mad. Like he is upset. I think I was watching the video when he found out that Biden had won. He was on the golf course as always. Something else that I didn't understand and that I didn't realize. I remember when he was running his campaign, he talked about how Barack Obama was, always on the golf course. He's like, I don't have time to go golfing, because I have to make change for the I got to run the country. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, he's probably spent more time golfing than any of them.
Oh well, no, that's the report is that he's golfed more than any president in U.S. history.
Right, like when John, you think back, like when John Lewis died. He was golfing. He was during the memorial service. He was golfing.
He seemed to have a lot of free time, right? He hasn't really aged a day since he became president.
Right,
really weird, right?
Yeah, because respectively, we kind of know what that's about, man.
That's right.
He has a hobby that he enjoys, and running the country is not necessarily involved in that. I guess Twitter and golf are the two pastimes of our current president.
Right.
However, we talked about that there is still work to be done, because as of right now, I believe he is looking to push lawsuits in PA.
Yeah.
He's looking to push some lawsuits because he believes that there was voter fraud. He believes that there were votes that were included after the deadline. And so now he's going to file suits. I know at least as of Monday, that is what his team were preparing to do.
They filed several suits. I think the one in Nevada was stricken down already.
Right.
By the one in Michigan was also. It's going to be very hard for him to prove these, mass voter fraud issues that he's claiming. You really, and even if he was I'm not saying there's no such thing as voter fraud.
Oh, it's real. It's been
happening. To mass level of I mean, it's almost to none, right? I think they did were mail-in ballots, right, over the last 30 years of just voter impersonation over the last 30 years. They've only found a case of like 8, right?
Right.
Over a billion ballots. It's virtually none. To try to figure out how you can overturn something mass is going to be difficult, right? Because you're not going to find this. But this is something that he proposed, right, before even a vote was cast, right? Before
he already said he was going to do it.
Before the ballots were even sent out,
he did say he was going to do it.
I think that's going to hurt his case a lot, right?
Right.
You're going to have a hard time with this. But there's I think the most legitimate one he might have that he can challenge is the one in Pennsylvania. Because this was sent up to the Supreme Court before the election, and it was sent back down, and now it's going to go back up.
Right. And I think right now
these votes wasn't even counted into the votes, that put him over the top.
Yeah, the Republicans already had, I think it was already 2 suits prior to the actual election. So it was just kind of like they already had an idea, already had plans to counteract something that hadn't even happened yet, but it's like somebody said
you got one party, Lawrence, that is adapt to voter suppression, right?
Right.
When you look at the country and when you look at the demographics of the country, most voters vote Democrat, right? We've seen that in the last 7, well now 8 out of the last 7 elections. You have Democratic, and this goes into down ballot as well. That's why gerrymandering for the Republican Party is so important, because when you have a party that have a hard time winning for popular votes, they're going to do everything they can to try to win without the popular vote, right? Without the popular vote. And so you have a party that specializes in suppression, right? Voter suppression.
We saw that in 2016, didn't we?
We saw it in 20. We've been seeing it for a while, and literally what you've been seeing, a lot of it is in these local elections, and now it's starting to make its way up to these big governor races and senate races, and voter suppression is a real thing. So it's something that's going to be hard to combat because you have the 2020 census just went out, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
And so you want to.
Yes, sir.
The Georgia Senate races are going to be very important, right?
Absolutely. So do you think, honestly, at this point, do you think that even with him filing these suits that he has a chance based on, because I feel like Biden has won too many electoral votes that even if they did go back, and not just the electoral votes, the margin in which Biden was leading Trump in Pennsylvania was.
It's more than what he won against Hillary Clinton, right? Which is still very, you're talking about these states, point and a half, 2 points and a half. They're not big margins. For the past 2 elections, they have not been. And so, listen, he has to win in all of these states, and the cases that he has to make has to be some kind of coherent. It has to be somehow streamlined to fit in most of all of these states, which is they're having a problem doing.
Right, that's not going to work.
You got to try to win in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Georgia, Arizona. Even if he wins in Nevada, Arizona, in Georgia, Biden has Pennsylvania, he's still the president.
Right.
And it's going to be hard for him to turn over all of these states, which they have not presented any. Let's just be clear: for no state have they presented any evidence of voter fraud, and not one. And so we're still waiting on the actual evidence for it.
Right, and that's the beauty of the democracy, right? Like that's how they set up the system. Like it was created by design. And I do not neglect or discount by any stretch or form of the imagination that Trump does not have a really good team of legal support. Probably have some of the best lawyers money can buy, and I do believe that he is going to he's going to drag this out as long as he can.
Paul made a state of the Republican winning some House seats. If you're going to make issues of a voter fraud for the general election, all these people are on the same ballot, right?
Right.
They're all on the same ballot. So it's where's the mass? If Republicans are picking up seats in the House, right? There was no real big blue wave that we were expecting, right? They lost seats in the House. They even lost some governor races. The Democrats really didn't have a great election season. It was subpar at best. And you picked up a couple of seats in the Senate, but they didn't do well in the Senate as well. And so if you're going to claim voter fraud, right, and that you lost, you had some of your down ballot outperform you. It really doesn't make any sense to me of what they're claiming here.
But at the same time, you have to know, somebody said it earlier, Trump is going to, he's throwing like his 2-year-old temper tantrum because he's made a few promises that yet he's yet to keep, that he's yet to fulfill, at this point in his election. He's had 4 years to make changes. He's had 4 years to make America great, as he said. And for a lot of people, it's been cool. For a lot of other people, it has not been. But he did say he was going to unify the nation through voting.
That didn't happen, right?
Yo, we showed up, we voted.
I think the biggest takeaway for that was the fact that he got so many votes as well. Now the Republican Party did a tremendous job of, because look, we all know Donald Trump didn't appeal to nobody outside his base, right? He lost more voters in his base than he gained. So they did a good job of registering new voters. They out-registered Democrats and new voters. And that was, they were able to get these people to come out, and people who are not really truly Republicans, but they're fans of Donald Trump. And I think they were able to do a good job of getting those people out.
Right, and I would say this too. I do want to address this real quick. Paul said, and I've heard a lot of people on the right say this: you should have to vote in person. It's a civic duty, right?
You should what?
He said his comment said you should have to vote in person.
Why?
It's a civic duty. Right. Why? And here's the thing that I would like to shoot for, if not the next 4 years, but we really need to figure out a better way to vote. I don't think you shouldn't have to vote in person.
No.
I feel like,
can I address, other countries have made it really easy to vote, right?
Yeah.
As a fact that making voting on the weekends instead of
there were people voting on Sundays, man. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, what are they doing over there?
Mail-in voting in other countries are encouraged, right?
Right.
I think this lie from the right of this mass conspiracy of voter fraud is not true, and they can bring up any record to try to challenge it, and they won't find it. They find these little bitty insignificant cases, right, that might seem somebody, individual things, but nothing on a mass scale of what they're trying to claim people do. Voting, dead people voting, it's just not really happening. And it doesn't really happen in other countries.
Unless you want to include Trump and Russia.
Right. You got right.
Okay, I'm not gonna start. Sorry.
They don't want to go there, right? but the thing is, reality is it's just not true. And other countries have made it easier,
right,
for their citizens to vote.
Right, and that's my point. We should make the process. Voting is the privilege. I feel like there are certain things about the process that we should streamline and make easier for like the elderly. I mean, like,
absolutely.
Like, like if they can't physically go, I think there should be ways that I could cast my ballot without having to leave my. I mean, we do everything else online,
right? And there's a lot of stuff. There are states that do mail-in voting just. Primarily, and Florida does mail-in voting. Been doing it for years, right?
Yeah, we know how Florida goes, right?
That state is a fluctuate state. It fluctuates red, blue, and it's been like that for years. And they've done they do a great job with mail-in voting,
right? Right.
And you, like you said, old people, it's making it hard to vote is nothing but voter suppression. Telling somebody they got to vote in person is wrong. Especially for somebody who's 80 years old, 90 years old, or
you got to get out the house and go vote.
Like disabled, and it's hard. You got to make things easier.
Right. I also saw that now. I think it was California. I think they passed a bill now that felons who have been released, I believe, can now vote.
I think that was in Florida.
Oh, was it Florida?
Florida.
I don't know. I remember if it was Florida or California.
Yeah, Florida passed it where they can vote if you're a felon. Which should be their right? They
are still citizens.
They're still citizens. You pay your debt to society. You should get all your rights returned back to you.
Right. That'll be a whole nother show of Be the People. You should definitely.
Definitely when it comes to voting. I'm not gonna say every right.
Right, but voting, yes. But I don't be within 1,000 feet of a school if you were a sex offender. Now,
and listen, and I agree with Paul. Listen, I do believe it's everybody's civil duty to vote, right?
Yes.
And, if you want to make it mandatory for people to vote, I don't see an issue with that. But this is the thing about Republicans. They hate when government try to tell them what to do.
What to do, right?
I feel like it would be a big issue if you try to tell people that they got to vote from that side. I think
no, I'm not voting. I don't.
No, right. Being controlled. That's to me. That's worse than a mask, right?
Right.
Telling people to wear a mask, right?
This is impending on my health. Well, you put mine at risk too, bro. Like, please wear your mask.
Right.
Sidebar. I get one sidebar show. We established this last week.
Okay, cool.
Please wear your mask.
Yeah, man.
These COVID numbers are going up, man.
Yeah.
And if we're still not convinced that COVID is real, if you're not going to take a hint or a clue from the current president, I'm not gonna say you deserve to get COVID. However, you are definitely putting yourself in a place and you're putting others at risk. So please, especially going into the cold and flu season, we are in the part of the year where you can get anything. They said it was gonna go away when it was hot outside. Summer has come and gone.
No, Donald Trump said that. The scientists didn't say that, right?
Right. CDC didn't say that. However, a lot of these people who are not wearing their mask are right. Yes, are Trump supporters.
Not wearing your mask. He's a doctor, for Christ's sake.
Right. And you still, but I mean, I get it. He has to support his leadership. But even now,
can you imagine that vortex of trying, knowing better, but having been in that environment and trying to, it's like high school all over again.
Yeah, it's right. It's just like high school or junior high all over again, man.
That's right, man. It's crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. So we got a few more minutes left. So check this out though. So we were talking about everybody going crazy, man. Mm-hmm. It has been crazy. Everybody has been, from politicians to law enforcement. It has legitimately been crazy. There are some videos I want to share real quick.
Let's see them.
If we could play a couple of those videos.
And strike, and angels have even been dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus. From South America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa. From South America. Angelic forces. Angelic reinforcement. Angelic reinforcement. Angelic reinforcement. Pika hata anda ata. Ora bata rata anda eke manda rasata. For I hear the sound of victory. 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 I hear the sound of victory.
Yo,
I'm not shaking my head emoji right now, bro.
Right, and you know what? And Ricky, I know you are. What are you like? You're atheist. You're not agnostic. You're atheist, right?
Well, I just don't subscribe to anything. Basically.
Okay, cool. I'm with it.
I don't put titles on anything.
Okay, cool. I mean, either way, I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. But even as a firm believer in Jesus Christ, this is foolishness. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, these white folk are wilding out, bro. Like, this is, and these, oh my goodness, man. Like, this is.
Well, I grew up on Paula White.
Right? We were just talking about Paula White and Kenneth Copeland and Jesse Duplantis and Creflo
Dollar and Juanita Bynes and
right.
Go down the list, right? Not Jake's the biggest of all. We grew up on these people.
My point is this, and I'll throw this out here, and we can kind of, talk about it a little bit. My point is this: is that in a climate that we are in as of right now, this supercharged political climate, as a believer, I know that there are unbelievers who are watching, that have been watching. There are people who have been paying attention more to what the believers have been doing, really more so than the president, if not equally. It's frustrating to see that even during this time that people are doing crazy things like this. And I say that because now what happens is, as somebody who believes, because I mean, we would say that Paula White and I are on the same team. Same team.
Somewhat, I would say that somewhat.
And somewhat, like, I mean,
she is Donald Trump's spiritual advisor, right?
But Jesus Christ should be kind of like our commonality.
Yeah, right.
But the fact that she's doing this to push a political agenda, to say that there are South African angels, to call on African angels,
right?
That's not Bible. Yeah. And so for the unbeliever, they probably looking at us like these clowns. Well, like, what are they doing?
I think I don't think that's true. I'm gonna tell you why. I think that this is expected. The evangelical vote goes for Donald Trump at an extremely high margin, right?
Absolutely. It goes specifically to Donald Trump.
That's right. So it's not uncommon for people on the outside of Christianity to look at this and say it's anything else than what they expect.
Right. Which is sad.
Right.
Which is
I would say the crazy part is that the black vote, right? We talked about it earlier. Mm-hmm. I believe that black people saved this election, right? Detroit, Milwaukee, Philadelphia,
absolutely.
Phoenix, Atlanta, came out in droves.
Right.
This lady, Paula White. Now, I stay very up in the church community. Paula White is took a black church, right?
She did.
Yeah.
So the story of Zachary Timms and
Zachary Timms. I remember when Zachary Timms passed away.
Yep.
I know how big of a loss that was.
Yes.
And she came in and took over that church. I think it was just the other day. Jamal Bryan said that
he reached out to her. He
reached out to her, and he also said that black people made Paula White who Paula White is.
That is absolutely correct.
I think
that is absolutely correct.
Is to me is the crazy thing is why did a black church still support Paula White when she went into the White House?
That is and so that's where I am. And the question is should the church perpetuate politics through the pulpit? That was 3 P's. Should the church
that was good though
perpetuate politics through the pulpit?
That was pretty good. That was good.
All right.
Donald Trump made it easier, right?
He did. I will say that
he passed that law, right, to make it easier because before then it was you really couldn't talk about it, but he made it easier for churches to, voice and basically become political platforms for the church. I mean, for the country, for that, group of evangelicals that really love him.
Right.
The thing about black people is don't matter how much, God is in our lives or Jesus is the center of our world. One thing is very important to know is that we're not going to vote for racism. It don't happen. And so I just feel like there's some disconnect with the black church and Paula White that she felt okay to go there and still show up every Sunday to preach to black people.
Right, because she definitely has black members in her congregation.
Right.
She
go for a black church.
Right. And so my thing is this, and to answer the question, I do not believe that I believe that the pulpit is reserved specifically for the preaching of the gospel, man. And I believe this, that as a believer, especially to non-believers, if our goal is to reach the lost, our goal is to preach the gospel and reach the lost. And this right here, this is crazy. This has nothing to do with what our agenda is as believers. And I appreciate your perspective as someone who doesn't necessarily believe, but is aware.
Can I make a quick point? Is that the reason why church and state is separate is for a reason, because you start making policy based off of something that is, from the Bible and not what's best for your country. And when you start doing things like that, you start discriminating.
Right. And we've seen that.
We've seen that. They always say about the Bible is that you can find anything to support what you believe. Slave owners did the same thing, and people who wanted to free the slave used the same scriptures, right? And so you have these issues that can come into head when you're trying to make laws. And I do believe it should be separate. I do believe that, but I don't believe in infringing on people's religious freedoms. All right, and I believe that they can say whatever they want to say. It just causes more issues, in my opinion.
Right, and we should, and separation between church and state was more than just like political ideology. I mean, it came to like taxes and like other things of that nature when it came to like actual government. However, this is at best like this is a fiasco, and the fact that church and state should be separate, but we're finding ways to intermingle and commingle the two.
Right.
It's just sad, man.
Yeah.
It's just sad. But yet, as if you're a believer, keep praying. If you're not, then keep voting. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Whatever y'all do, right?
Yeah, whatever it is that you do.
I think that the thing is, you gotta have hope, and there's faith of other kinds, that you believe in the system, and you have faith that the system works, and you have faith that as we call them, Jesus freaks don't come in and try to muddy up the system, right? This happens
it's happening.
It's happening. It happens with a lot of things. Gay marriage was. I can only imagine like how upset the evangelical church was in 2015 when the Supreme Court made it illegal for gay marriage. But this is a point that we're making, that you cannot base laws off of religion,
off religious practice, right?
Yeah, you can't. And when you have these things happen, listen, I don't doubt Paula White is very passionate, right, about what she believes, and she's very passionate about Donald Trump. It's so funny that the evangelicals love Donald Trump so much. This person is the opposite of what you would think of when you think of somebody of faith. A believer. Joe Biden seemed more like somebody of a believer of faith than he does. He may not even know how to hold a Bible.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. You ask him what scripture, his favorite scripture is, he can't tell you.
He said 2 Corinthians.
Right. It's so weird. He said what?
He said 2 Corinthians. So real quick, I want to address something and we'll get out of here. She said, I truly don't believe God is concerned about who will win an election when he's in control of anything anyway. Church and state need to be kept separate. Even in the Bible, there are verses. And you know what? I truly believe this. And I truly believe this. And this is not to push my ideology on anybody. God is not concerned with an election. Like he doesn't care, honestly, simply because he gave us a simple thing to use in our daily lives called wisdom. He gave us wisdom to use wisdom to make decisions. Like we don't. I had a friend of mine say there's just certain things we just don't need to worry God about.
No, Kendrick, I would tell you absolutely not. He would lose the evangelical vote if that was the
right, because that's how a lot of them make their money.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Trump wouldn't do that.
He definitely wouldn't do it. Trump is about Trump.
Right.
I would say something. There's nothing more funny to me than God and country, right?
As a believer, it's terrible, man.
Yeah, God and country is all like God, and then your country is I always found it weird, even when I was enthralled in the church, and now that I'm like outside of that life, it's even more weird to me.
I believe it's wrong, honestly, and I feel like that's a whole nother. Maybe we can have this conversation on religion.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
If Tam is on here. I don't know. I don't care. Maybe we can make that happen. But it's crazy. They should be kept separate because I feel like they have 2 different purposes. They have 2 different systems. They have 2 different ideologies.
Right.
They have 2 different points in how they affect people in society.
Church affects the soul.
Right.
And the state is about governing and legislating and making laws and taking care of people. Financially and medically, and it has something totally different about it. But listen, people with money, people with power, they put their influences in, and
and historically.
But every president has a spiritual advisor,
right.
you know, that comes in. Joe Biden's going to have one. Barack Obama had one. George Bush, Clinton, Bush before, they all have one. And so, you know, when we talk about God and country, that's always been very muddied, right? Because you got places where on Capitol buildings and in everywhere, a lot of places in the country where you got the 10 Commandments on it.
10 Commandments,
you know,
God we trust.
God we trust on money. So you got these issues where we say church and state is separate, but is it really? You know?
Right. Yeah, man. So with that, that's our time, man. I appreciate you joining me, Ricky.
Yeah, I really enjoyed myself, man.
Good conversation as always, man. And if y'all have not subscribed to the page, please subscribe to TFG Media. A lot of good content. If you have any questions or got any comments, drop them. We'll do our best to respond to them. But for Be the People, remember to be the people. Peace. Love y'all. Good night. Okay, cool. Maybe I should have made it was a good show, man. Maybe I should have made like a church song for the intro.